wow, ball game. Hats off to them. They can play. White is legit. But Parker Messick is too. For him to do what he did, keep us in the ball game. I did not want to go into conference play next week with him not being around that 100 pitch mark, and was concerned there for a while. But he did what winners do. They don't think about the past. They keep plugging and kept us in a weird game. No, I've never seen someone miss home play on a home run. And I don't think you'll see it ever again. Anybody ever seen that?
I saw it in the high school game.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Stephen Drew, when he lost in the state championship at Parkview, a kid on his team didn't touch home plate. Cost him the first game.
Did not know that. Crazy. Questions?
Go ahead.
Who spotted it first?
There's about 5 guys that started yelling. I was like, shh. And then started yelling, throw it to home. But they kind of got him in that circle, and they were yelling and they couldn't hear. But everybody, about 5, 7 of us, right there on the end, saw it.
Do you know the rule? Like, what's the rule when it comes to how far can he walk towards the dugouts? Or if one of his teammates might say, "Hey man, I don't know if you touched home
Dirt
plate."
is generally what they use. If you've got a small dirt area, it's up to the umpire can say that's not enough, but the normal dirt area of the home plate.
So when you're saying you don't want him to know,
Right.
you guys to know that he might have missed home plate, right?
Because he didn't have a ball yet.
Yeah.
So it's like they start yelling and pointing, and then right about that time, he flips him a ball, and then he's in the in the mosh pit.
It looked like Colt immediately communicated with the umpire about it.
Oh yeah.
But can the umpire actually say anything to him at that moment?
Can the umpire say anything to him?
In the sense of yes or no, you did not take it. Or does it have
No,
a
he cannot.
process?
He cannot. Do that. He can't say anything to him. He did it right.
You say you've seen it, so many guys saw it. Is that something like people are normally watching, like from the dugout, just to make sure, or just
I
happens to
never
happen?
have. I just happened to be looking for whatever reason. But no, I never watch a guy touch on plate.
When you're 4 ounces away from your 3rd straight loss, and obviously it's still early in the season, but how big does it feel to come back there and get that close win?
Yeah, it's a lot of good for a lot of guys. For Terrell's psyche. We started swinging the bats better towards the end. Put together some better ABs, and they've got to learn that a good AB doesn't necessarily translate to a hit. But there was a lot of guys that did a lot of good things there towards the end. We did some bonehead things as well. Pitch selection wasn't great, and letting the game come to you. And they did a good job. They brought guys in that had those wipeout sliders that makes it tough. And you're always like, why are you swinging at that? Well, when you stand in there, it's not that easy, But we're going to get better at it. The more times they're out there, the more times they see it, the better off they'll be.
I think Alex had the 3-0 green light and just missed the pitch before the home run. For him to come back and kind of get the same pitch and execute on that one, what does it say about him?
Yeah, he's close. He had a pitch that he took a good pass at, and it was in. He hit it foul, but he didn't, hit it 100 yards foul. So I knew the timing was such that he was going to be better as the game went on. And he's got crazy power, and that's where it's got to be, in the middle of the field. Not something out in front. Got to get him out of that.
You talked about Parker and grinding out after. I mean, it feels like that's the kind of thing that would really swing the whole weekend, because if he's out after a few, if he hits that wall, you can't get through. I know you have a couple of bullpen guys who are questionable. I guess what's that do for the whole weekend?
It really helps. That's why I brought it up. It's so important. Pitchers, look, starters. That's how you do it. You can't be thinking about stuff that's happened in the past. And I got burned on the shift. I got burned on I got hosed on the shift. He never thought about any of that. He just does what he does, and kept us in it. You're right. For the series, it's huge. We didn't have to eat up a bunch of guys out of the bullpen and really be a taxing situation later on.
Tyler made his debut. Did you expect to use him going into tonight, and why him at that moment?
He came to me before the game. He said, "This is the best I felt." He said, "I was 100% off, at least 90 miles an hour in the cage off the machine. I didn't feel anything. I threw, worked out, and hit. And once you get to that point, because that's what you have to do the rest of the year, And so I said, we're not going to do anything until you get to that point. And I didn't necessarily want to do it, but I knew. I guess I thought we'd get a good AB out of him, and we did. Credit to him. We haven't seen live pitching in 9 months. So And that was the plan, is get him through, everything feels good, get through this weekend, get some live stuff, and then go next weekend. But that's over.
So that was literally his first live at bat since June, correct?
So how touchy is all that? Is just he's medically cleared and then it's all feel on his part?
Yeah.
Communicating?
It's just the full swings, and that's how he hurt in the first place. So that's why I got him off the bases. Is if something happens and he's going to go and die, right? He's not ready for that. So, it is. He's cleared, but it's just a matter of this has got to be done first, because once you throw adrenaline on it, it's going to be a lot worse. And he said it felt great, and I swung as hard as I could, and I feel good. So.
Talked about the last couple of weeks about how they're being back to its normal self, but I feel like tonight was as close as they've been in a long time to being in the packed house and crucial moments down the
It
stretch.
was, you can feel it, you can sense it. The Hauser Mystique, our fans, absolute hats off to them. They were there, they were loud, they knew when to get going, and it makes it hard on other clubs. Fans are really into the game. Ours sure are.
I only asked this because he had faced two lefties the last pitcher for them and thrown 6 straight balls to him. Any thought at all on the 2-0 to give a tank sign because he had, I mean, I know probably, obviously not, you didn't give it to him, but he had thrown 6 straight balls to the lefties he had faced.
Yeah.
And just the trust, I guess, in a freshman to pick out a good one there.
Yeah, and you got to do it at some point, because if you're really in this for to win the whole thing, the more times they've done it and been trusted, they may fall flat on their face. And that's what I told Jimmy. We never want to miss an opportunity the way it's going to be late when it matters. If it costs us a game, but it's going to win us too late because he throws a 2-0, 2-1 change up left on left, he's got to pitch that way. We're going to do it. So the same thing offensively. That's what it's going to be.
And Carryall made a great play in maybe the 9th inning, I think. Just that kind of play, that's a game-changing type play, and that's what he's there for, right?
Absolutely. It's hard to find guys that can really, pick it and have foot speed to truly play short and a true arm, an accurate arm, because the pro guys gobble them up. If they get too big, they get too, whatever, they move them somewhere else. You think back on all the guys that have started out as shortstops. It's hard. They're going to take all the ones, and he can legitimately stay at short.
Did you feel like Jonah was a bit sharper after the couple of days of rest you guys gave him?
Yeah, he didn't know what it was. It's just a weird sensation. And I used to do it. You sleep with your arm up underneath you, And I asked him that. He's like, yeah, I do sleep on it. I said, well, sleep on your right side. Tuck that right arm. And so, again, it went away. That was another one. I wanted to make sure he was absolute 100% fine for 2 days, and he's been that way this week, and he was ready to go.
Do you have an idea if any of the other relievers who are kind of been questionable coming the week might be available later?
Davis Hare's sick. We were hoping to have him. He's fine. He's ready to go. He's just sick. And, the oblique with Mizzou's going to be a little bit. Those things are a pain. But, I'm going to leave it out. We got some Joe Charles. We're waiting on a second opinion, and we'll go from there with him. So, there's somebody else, too. We got 20 of them. Well, I can't think of it.
Me, how nice was it? You earned the win, but that 3-0 swing, he's about 6 inches away from catching that ball down on the third base line, and then the very next pitch goes 430 feet. Is that something that can just rejuvenate a team and you're due for some luck like that?
Yeah, you're right. We were, and that was pointed out that getting burned on the shifts, and then some atom balls we hit right at them, and a couple of calls that did go away, but that clear mind and go is got to happen, and you got to learn to turn the page and learn from it and move on. But he needed it, no doubt. We needed it.